and they wanted to move them. And that protest group at the time said that they had no problem. They wanted to give the park back and back to the community. They said that they want the park cleaned. Huh?
I said, everyone at the park's not moving. We're not moving. We're not leaving. Just because it's closed doesn't mean that we're gonna move.
So what's your plan? Are you camped? Are you tented in the park?
Oh yeah, we got a fence around our compound.
So you're in the grassy area then?
Yep. We're on the very top. Yep.
So does that mean that the people up there at the East Precinct barricade don't speak for you here in the park?
I guess not. They haven't done anything so far. So
let me ask you this: so living over there,
yeah.
Has anybody from Human Services? Have you seen any Human Services over there? Anybody from the city, social workers or anything like that?
Negative.
No. Have you been over there to the canopy at all? To the Human Services canopy that's outside of the CHOP?
No, I didn't even know there was one.
Okay, and so what you're saying is you don't have you guys don't have any plan to leave from over there?
No plan.
And why is it that you want to stay here? Is this a better environment for your living situation?
Yeah, we also have a garden too. We have food and we have shelter and we have security.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
It's not an ideal. It's not all those protests when they're like, everybody get up and let's go. It's because they wanted us all to leave the park, so then Parks and Services could come in and fucking rip down our tents.
Have you seen that happen before here in Seattle?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and is that Navigator team or is that the SPD or you don't know?
I have no clue. I'm pretty sure they're with SPD.
All right. Good luck out here today. God bless. Be safe.
God bless.
Hey, Bobby Stills. Can y'all be out here for a second? Just give it a shot that way. All right, in 1 second. Just title for the video. All right, give me 1 second, guys. So the gentleman we just spoke to is somebody who's experiencing homelessness. He said he lives over there now at Cal Anderson Park, and what he said is that he's it's a better environment for him there, is what he was saying. Is that and he doesn't want to give up the park to Seattle Parks Department. Again, Seattle Parks Department has posted signs here that said that the park will be closed today at 2 p.m. Today at 2 p.m. It looks like that they're going to want to go ahead and close the park now. They tried to close the park on Friday, but that didn't quite work out too well for them. But what we saw. 12 p.m. You're right. Thank you. Whew. I told you my eyes ain't been right since that tear gas, man. You guys think I'm playing, and I'm not even being like funny like anything. Actually, let me take this one down. Let me remove this. 1 second. Thank you. So 12 p.m. So in just 2 hours is what we're hearing here. Yeah, I mean, I remember one time it was like the mayor put everybody on curfew. It was a 5 o'clock curfew, and she put out the curfew at like 4:45. And necessity is the mother of innovation. And what we see here is people have a necessity to block the street, and there they go. So.
Right. We keeping people safe out here.
It is the Black Lives Matter mural. We will
Oh,
protect it.
you want to protect the mural? Okay. And this is one thing that if you guys remember on the stream, we talked about. What we said was this mural right here has it's something that these guys wanted to protect. And if you remember the stream the other night, we're like, well, man, what's SDOT's plan going to be for this mural? You know, are they going to remove the barricades and then just put a street closed sign? Are they going to remove the barricades and immediately open it to traffic? But either way, what we said at the time was that SDOT needed a plan for this mural because, man, it's a rallying point here. Thank you, Bobby. It's definitely a rallying point here, and we see that. Okay, 12 p.m. You guys, thank you. That's what I'm saying. People on the stream be having my back, yo. Okay, 12 p.m. So, I don't know. Director Zimbabwe. Let me see. Do I have Zimbabwe's number?
Why did y'all move that shit?
Let me see who I can get. Let me see if I can reach Zimbabwe. I don't have Zimbabwe's number. I got somebody. Let me call SVU. Let's see if.
I know what Director Zimbabwe. I know what Director Zimbabwe is. What he's proposing for the city to do with the mural.
Right, but we'll hear from him. Hey, do you have the Director Zimbabwe's phone number? We're on a live stream here. I talked to him earlier, but I want to ask because the street's blocked again now. And but they want to protect this mural that's here. And so our question the other day was the city's plan, because everybody knew the 10th Avenue barricade was coming up, but the question then was like, do they open the barricade and open it to traffic? Do they lift the barricade and put a street closed sign? Because at this point, they're just like, yeah, we expected the barricade to go, but they don't, they don't want people driving. They don't want people driving over the mural. No, he's gone. He's gone now, and so I was just wondering if you might have Director Zimbabwe's phone number. So I just want to call him and ask him directly. You know me, get to the heart of the matters. All right, thank you. All right, so we're just waiting to see if we can get a phone number on SDOT Director. SDOT Director Zimbabwe, and just like that, hey, excuse me, you said protecting this mural here is very important to you?
I didn't say anything about a mural.
Oh, somebody else said mural.
I'm saying it's protecting people. This way, multiple times, even the other night, there would have been multiple people, up to 20 people killed. This barricade alone has saved multiple lives throughout the night. Even if cops were active and ready to patrol, which they're not protecting businesses in Seattle, which Seattleites need to be upset about, they wouldn't have responded, and they would have needed to be strapped up and whatever with active shooting, which they wouldn't have been able to get on time. You would have still had deaths because they act too damn slow.
Okay, all right. Did I hear somebody say something about the mural out here?
I did.
Okay. Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
You said that you wanted to protect this mural?
Oh yeah, we all want to protect this mural because this is very important to us.
All right. Well,
we're not going to let
it went from a hard barricade to a soft barricade. So, but we've been hearing that though. We've been hearing like what was SDOT gonna do about this this mural that's in the street, because it has a lot of emotional value, I suppose, to a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And then it's what we've seen. So the news that's not necessarily breaking news, because we knew it was going to happen, but it did happen here today, is that the Seattle Department of Transportation came in here with some fast moving bulldozers. You see that? It's like those guys raced those bulldozers on the weekend or something.
Quick, like.
Man, I mean, they were fast, and they just gobbled up.
I mean, I just walked through
the
this
ballast
area
blocks
15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
Dropped off my bag.
Yeah, they came right through.
No one was there.
10th Avenue. The ballast blocks or the cement blocks are now gone. They've been replaced here by an impromptu barricade. We got a few different reasons behind the barricade. One gentleman there told us that it was all about continuous safety. Another gentleman said that they wanted to protect the mural that's painted here. This mural got a lot of attention all around the world, and reinforcements for this barricade, the impromptu barricade, continue. And what we see has been accomplished. What we see has been accomplished thus far is that the cement barricade is now being replaced by a soft barricade. Looks like we got. We've asked him.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Go! Don't fucking touch me in my fucking house! Yeah, don't touch him! Get the fuck out! Don't touch him! Don't fucking touch me! Yeah. Don't ever fucking touch me! That's disrespecting the camera!
It's been a lot of tension out here with media crews. It's been. This is NBC right here today. There's actually a crew from NBC. We saw some tensions yesterday, and that's not King 5. That's NBC News and MSNBC, who's right here. We also saw some tensions the other day with Fox. It was yesterday with Fox News. Oh, wait, say hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Okay, there you go. You're famous now. Woo! So's your mom.
Yeah, she is.
There you go. These barricades, 11th Avenue, 11th remains. Director Zimbabwe didn't give any indication that 11th would move today, and 11th hasn't moved today. So I did get something here. Ethan, let me see if I can get a hold of. Let's say we got a continuing issue here. So, speaking of NBC, somebody over there texted me a contact down at Department of Transportation, and I'm calling right now. So Bobby Steele's a man of many functions and features. Now is actually holding the camera.
You got the shakes.
You got the shakes. So these guys, though, this camera crew here, these guys are from Australia or somewhere like that. And so, you know what I'm saying? They're like, no, this is just a camera crew has been like, you know, Iraq, Afghanistan, all this and that. And so
this is the curb. It's the big truck. Sounded like a big bang, but there's a big ass truck with curb in it. How's it going? Woo! Yeah, it is. I get all the wet here too, but I hope so. I mean, should be a little bit more than 7 people, but whatever. There was like 20, and then they stopped. But maybe when we start rocking up, it'll be good.
so we can get going here.
Hey, there's a bunch of shields right in the front lobby of the cop shop.
They know. I know he does.
You know.
Hey, so I got a question for you. It's like our reporting. We've been reporting this now for 4 or 5 days.
Yep.
And even it's almost been 1 week now since the big group of protesters said they were abandoning 10th Avenue anyway. And so is this a surprise to anybody today? That S-Dot came. I've been saying it's news, but not news, because everybody knew it was coming.
They're going to come and go as they try. The reason why we're so abrasive with them taking these barricades is because the city said we're placing them there for your safety, and if they take that away, they're saying we're taking away your safety. That's why we don't want these barricades to move.
So you're saying, well, I guess that is actually what the city said when they put it in.
We're placing them there to keep you guys safe. So when they take them away, our main reaction is, oh, so you don't want us to be safe anymore?
Right. And what's your position now? I know the position 5 days ago was that you guys were ready to actually reduce the footprint just here to the East Precinct, release the park, release the tented area, and keep this area here. And now what I have seen is that since that time, it looks like you guys have drawn a new demarcation line there on 11th Avenue, as opposed to just these barricades here in front of the East Precinct. So would you now consider 11th Avenue as your barrier, or just in front of the East Precinct?
I would consider the main barrier would be the East Precinct. We just haven't taken the time to move the barriers from 11th, if that makes sense. We don't have a forklift.
Okay, and so, I mean, if SDOT came back here today and was like, yeah, we want to move these barriers, and what's your position with that?
We don't want them to touch them.
So you're saying that you will adjust any other barrier modifications over here on 11th Avenue?
Yes, we will.
All right, good. I had another question, and so down there at the park, because they're closing the park at 12 o'clock, at least that's the signs that the Seattle Parks Department has put up. And, well, yeah. Well, I mean, let's get Parks on the phone. You know me, man. I be trying to talk to everybody.
Absolutely.
So, if
by law, we have to get a 72-hour eviction notice before they come in and kick us out.
Right, and that's for people that are sleeping in the park, right? And so, what you're saying, are you part of the homeless population here, sir?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that the city is obligated to give you 72 hours to be removed?
That's right.
So, I mean, is them closing the park and them evicting you from the park the same thing?
Kicking us out is kicking us out either way. The little bulletin says that they won't mess with the garden or the art structures. It doesn't say anything about them not.
So the city gave you a bulletin?
Well, somebody showed up.
They did. A lady went around and had a little piece of paper. I think might have one.
She had a presentation, huh?
She had a.
Oh, this is Director Zimbabwe here. Hey, Director Zimbabwe. Hey, what's good? I'm putting you on the speaker here. I'm putting you on the speaker here. So the question was, because there's already a soft barricade that's now replaced 10th Avenue.
Yeah.
Some people said for safety, but quite a few people, even over the last few days, have been talking about that the mural and whether the city was going to open the street to traffic or they were going to keep the street closed until you figured it out, or what. So I just thought that I would call you so we get it directly from the source.
Yep. So we're working on what the long term is. We want to figure out how to preserve it and what the best way to do that is. It's likely anything we do, we'll need to figure out how to touch it up and then protect it. Whether that's with materials to protect it or changes to the way the traffic works on that street, we still don't know. So we've been in touch with Kia also. I think my team is meeting with her tomorrow morning.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else while we're here on the stream? To Kia. To Kia. That was one of the artists there. No, I see. I'm always clarifying. They thought you said Nikita. Like, is it Oliver? So I'm like, I cleared it up for you, Director Zimbabwe. It's all good. So you're like I said, you're live here on the stream. Is there anything that you want the people here in Seattle or even I'm behind now over here by the East Precinct, so I'm over at the protester population. Is there anything you want anybody else to know about your SDOT's actions today?
You have 2 leaders here.
Nope. We took out the barriers at the concrete blocks at 10th and Pine and at the Rancho Bravo parking lot. It was consistent with what we've been saying, that we need to clear the barriers out of the street. We weren't coming to touch the East Precinct this morning.
All right. Thank you, Director Zimbabwe. I know you're a busy guy. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye.
Let everybody know. Thank you, Amari.
Yeah, no problem. You know, I was trying to get to the bottom of issues, man.
No, Amari, I almost went off. I thought he said Nikita.
Yeah, everything's good. Just got off the phone with him. He talked to us live. Yeah. All right. Bye. Man, it's a lot of abrasiveness.
They'll be able to remove the camp. I mean, you guys can imagine it's going to be such a. They would have to have hundreds of fucking motherfuckers come in here.
What for the camp or for this?
The camp, yeah.
The tented area.
The tented area. Yeah. I mean, take on all those tents and stuff. I mean, you got all sorts of people.
Well, so Myers, you said that you got a pamphlet or a presentation from the city.
I left it at the tent. But
do you recall what the city was passing out basically?
Basically, she was handing out 2 pieces of paper. One was for a resource center that they sent up on.
It's right there. It's Pine and Broadway, right?
Yeah, so yeah, that one. And she was just like trying to convince us to leave, and I was just like, dude, she's like, you're not safe here. And anybody who's been homeless like us, man, knows that we're not safe anywhere, man. Like, if you're a homeless person, it doesn't matter what color you are, dude. You are
We
homeless.
got a lot of unhomeless people who have set up habitation in the park.
Right, exactly.
They have
So
rights.
there's that, but now there's
Eviction notice.
families, there's children, there's elderly people, there's disabled people, there's mentally disabled people, dude. There's people high on drugs all over the place in there. If they try to do anything in there, it's gonna be a fucking shit show.
Right, and why is this a space that I mean, I know you said nowhere is safe, but I mean, are you finding that this is a safer space for you right now? That's why you don't want to leave here?
If I'm by myself, right, and I'm sleeping underneath this thing right here, then the whole fucking world can fucking fuck with me. You know what I mean? Like, and anybody can come rob you. Look at me, I'm a little guy, dude. Like, anybody can kick the crap out of me.
Actually,
like, thank you. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you're not safe forever. As long as we're in a big group like that, yeah, there's the problems. They're coming to shoot at us and stuff. But honestly, as a collective homeless camp, I mean, it's not as bad if we're all like together. I mean, me and my neighbors have been watching out for each other the entire time, and yeah, I mean, I feel safer in there than I do on the street by myself.
I'm growing a plant out of my leg.
Definitely say that.
Out of my abscess in my leg. Look at that.
Yeah, we're not going to share that, bro.
Get that checked
It's still
out.
breakfast time.
It's cool.
So,
Interesting deals.
well, one thing is that we were looking for confirmation that Human Services had been through there, and so it does sound like say Human Services has entered the tented area. What did the other pamphlet
The
say?
other pamphlet did say that they're closing the park.
Yeah, it said
Right.
coming in at 12, and they're closing the park.
Logistically,
to,
in reality,
clean up
like,
trash
how the hell are
and
they going to do
repair
that?
damages, and they won't touch the garden or art installation.
And they're not going to touch the garden or
But
the art.
that means that they could just throw everybody's tent and shit away.
Right, and for most of us, that's my life, dude. Like, I would literally have
and
nothing.
they-
Like, I would
we
have
can't
this
be
backpack.
kicked out of our house.
Exactly. Like,
Until
they're
they
gonna-
serve an eviction notice. They can't do some sneaky shit like, oh, we're just going to repair your shit.
Right. All right.
It is their property.
Yeah, but we have set up habitation. Therefore, we have a right to a 72-hour eviction notice. That's on the books.
Yeah, but do you think SDOT really actually gives a fuck?
Yeah, see, there's that too.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's SDOT that's evicting from the park. I think it's Seattle Parks.
PD, whoever. Do you honestly think they really
city-
give a
the
fuck?
city doesn't
Yeah, of
give a
course.
City?
About the
No.
law. Yeah.
So why are we even talking about them giving you a 72-hour
I know,
notice
because
when
we
you
don't
know
even care
damn well
about
they're
that.
not
Yeah.
actually going to fucking do that?
Well, if they don't.
All right. Well, let's see what happens today. Good luck, guys. God bless. Well, I'm gonna try to get the director of parks on the phone right now. We'll just ask the director of parks what's his plan. I mean, my mama always says, man, get it straight from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? Hey, can you send me the director of parks information or phone number? We're here live on the show. Whoever the director of parks, just talk to Zimbabwe or director of SDOT. I was trying to get some information over here as what the Parks Department's plan is for today, because they've taken some action. So I was trying to get the director of parks phone number. I'd like to speak to the director of the Parks Department for the city of Seattle. Oh, okay, my bad. You use different, superintendent. Yeah. So in SDOT, it's the director. Yeah, okay. Well.
Going down, they're trying to do what right now, and said he doesn't veto that shit. He was not clear about the
Nope, they didn't. Exactly. My friend, I had a friend that was on the other side of the building.
Say the homeless. Who do we protect? Who do we protect? Say the most vulnerable community.
There was stuff way before them.
The most vulnerable community. The most vulnerable community. The most vulnerable community. Who do we protect? Who do we protect?
On election days, stole the vehicle.
And then he came up to me, or the boom mic guy came around the camera, came up to me, and then got so close, and then he shoved me. So then I just took his mic and I was like shoving him and shit. I was gonna punch him, but then my mask came off and the camera's right on my face, you know. So it's just not smart, you know. I know, like, I should have escalated with them, but like at this point there is no good narrative for the news, you know. There's no good narrative to this whole situation. At this point, it's all negative shit. You feel me? Like,
So, but
since day zero, so I know they've been here, like, you know, out here trying to help somewhat, but they've also, you know, people really dig into what they're reporting on. There's a lot of shit that's not true that they're saying too, you know. But people just see the big headlines and they're like, "Oh, they're helping us." But you look at deeper into it, and they're not helping us.
right, and so I got a question as a member of the media, man. So are you for freedom of speech out here? Are you advocating censorship? Or you take a second to think about it if you want.
I'm out here for Black lives, for all lives, but Black lives is what's important right now. All lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Okay.
I'm Latino, I'm Mexican, you know, I look white as fuck, but I'm Mexican. And, you know, I'm out here advocating for my people, for your people, for everybody, you know. We're all out here for the same reason. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all humans. We're all out here from the same place, you know. And so I'm out here also shooting a documentary with a couple big, I can't say the group name, but a couple big groups for...
And so, well, do you have a problem specifically with NBC News, or you had a problem there with that particular camera crew, or just the actions that they were filming somebody who you're saying didn't want to be filmed?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not necessarily trying to block the media's right to be in the zone.
Right, and I felt bad afterwards. You know, I record too. You know, and so like I felt bad, but the thing is the fact that, you know, he got in several people's faces, and they all were like, "Please stop recording," you know, and they kept on recording. So at that point, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, you could be over here getting a good narrative and using our voices as what he told me later on, right? But that's not what you're doing. You're getting people's faces that don't want to be on camera. And so,
well, so one, I'm never gonna be for, and I'm not saying you are either, but I'm never gonna be for censorship. I'm totally for the freedom of speech. You know, because I've been in a lot of countries, bro, where I've been on the other side where people considered me, you know what I'm saying, the outside press and everything else bad. I've been detained, you know what I'm saying, in other countries and everything else. And so, you know, I'm a firm supporter of people, you know, I mean, I'm not a supporter of sensationalism and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, people coming and getting their things. But beyond that, the bigger picture is, how do you see this unfolding? As somebody who looks like you've been shooting yourself, like you said, shooting a documentary out here and getting some footage. What's your biggest observations out here?
Big observations. You know, we're all a community. We're all out here, you know, like nonstop. I've been offered food. I've been offered this. I've been offered people living right here, you know. They've been out here like, hey, you know, you need some laundry done, you need a shower or something like that. And it's crazy because you hear from the city or the news that, oh, the people here are hating it and this and that. I've had nothing but people come up to us and say, thank you so much. You know, thank you guys for doing all what you're doing. So, like, I think there's a lot of conspiracies and this and that, but I think the biggest thing is just the fact that everybody's out here, you know, helping each other. And I realize that there's a lot of tensions and emotions in the air right now, and I think that might have also been one of the reasons why I kind of acted up. You know, we're all just kind of on high tensions and emotions after the last shooting, after several shootings. You know,
right.
And just every situation gets blown out of proportion, I feel like. You know?
Right. All right, man. Good luck. God bless. Be safe out here, okay? Yeah. And here's what we're gonna do: is we're gonna sweep back around. Actually, we're gonna go to the park. Then we're gonna come back by the new soft barricade, as we'll call it now. And then we got to get ready for the morning show, which actually starts at 11 a.m. We've got Coach Dominique from Community Passageways, and talk about some of the work that he's trying to do out here. And just to recap for a lot of people who might be just hopping on the stream, what we saw this morning is what everybody knew was coming, which was the clearance of 10th Avenue. We saw the 10th Avenue barricades get cleared by some fast-moving bulldozers. Yo, Bobby, the bulldozers was fast, dog.
It looked like a ballet.
Man, they've been practicing. It's like, man, they got some kind of tactical yard or something, man, because they came in there fast. And the bulldozers that they used, yeah, they were just able to to pick them right up. This is the playfield at Cal Anderson Park. You see, it's only like 1 or 2 tents. They're actually left out here that look like they might be occupied, as in the tents people are actually living in. But the playfield area, if you guys have been following this now for this very, very long time we've been here, then you know that the playfield area is an area that was always temporary tenters anyway. Let's see. Yeah, you okay?
Well, you know, I'm always okay. Thank you for asking. You know, I'm going to get it. But when I wake up, I expect first thing in the morning, before I say anything to God, I must have my sins so I can sleep going.
Yeah, well, it's always good to get right with God in the morning. So, here we have, this is SPU. So SPU, that's Seattle Public Utilities. They've got a rig out here.
That's kind of like giving it to
The rep from SPU on that side. I'm gonna go behind you, huh?
You wanna go behind me?
Yeah. Or we'll go together. Huh?
Let's walk together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. So we've seen a reduction in tents though. Oh, they moved further back.
Because they're making more room for the garden.
Aha. Okay. Well, we need to get back there today. I saw an area kind of popping up over there. Riot Kitchen is still here.
Amari, can we talk now?
Yeah, sure. What's going on?
Thank God.
You got to walk with us, though.
I'm trying to do an interview and talk with you.
Oh, well, interview we need to do after 12 o'clock. Unless you just want it to be 3 minutes. No, I'm not doing a Skype.
Live?
I'm live right now.
Okay, so can I tell you about our new narrative?
Well,
Pocket died the other night, and nobody's understanding what the fuck actually happened. It's really, really, really painful to see the family talk about the inability of their time to acknowledge what CHOP is, because the parents didn't have time to at least even come down here and see what we were about. Teach his son what we's out here and about for.
All right.
So Pocket died, and out there in his memorial that I'm in charge of, because that's my first art installation here, it says Pocket's World. And we're trying to let people know that it is going to be Pocket's World now. When you know what that means? That means when you reach into your pockets, you're going to get everything you need. So if you come out here to CHOP, I promise you, we're trying to make sure it's Pocket's World out here. And there's 2 rules. Can I get your screen, please? 2 rules.
Why not?
Rule 1.
You want to go this
Knowledge
way, so.
is king.
Okay.
Second rule.
That's a good rule.
And this is big to both of my brothers that I'm here with. We always listen to all our queens. Y'all got me?
Got you. Loud
That's
and
it.
clear. All right.
We need to make this bigger than George Floyd. Pocket's World out here.
Rad's too cool, right?
Rad 2 cool. R-A-D, the number 2 cool.
All right.
You can find it on my chest.
Rad too cool. You heard it right from him. Pocket's World. Pocket's World.
Also got art
So we reached out to the public affairs for Seattle Parks. We want to get a hold of the superintendent of parks, so we can talk to the superintendent of parks to see exactly what the plan is here. But one thing that we did hear is that, you know, that was the young man that we spoke to earlier who's experiencing homelessness. He talked about there have been social workers who came through here, gave them different pamphlets or information about what was going on and everything else. And we've been hearing from the city that they've been pushing human services through here. We met a lot of city people over the last few days, but we hadn't met any human services. And we didn't want to confirm that they weren't here, but we also couldn't confirm that they were here. So we've spoken to at least one person who was able to confirm that human services have been out here giving some brochures. And also there's a space right across the street, believe it or not, that's the infamous Broadway. For people who know Seattle, Sir Mix-a-Lot made it famous That's Broadway right there. So, and just 1 block away, life goes on. And right here on 10th, we got a new barricade up. Man, these guys, they're just as quick as the bulldozers, man. You know what I'm saying? The bulldozers came and removed the cement barricade. The protesters like, hold my beer. You know what I'm saying? I put one right back. So, there's Jake. This is good to see Jake. Man. Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm still breathing.
Yeah.
Hold on, you guys protected me that night.
Yeah.
You guys were the guys right here. You guys protected me that night. We got hit with the rubber bullets. I didn't have gas masks or anything. And it was one person in front of me and one behind you.
Yep. That other guy, I didn't even know. I was just like, hey, this guy's important. Like.
Yeah, you guys took me, and I was up there in the front at the barricade recording. That's wild, man. Yeah, and you guys stayed with me the whole night that night, everywhere I moved. And you were telling people, like, you got to stay with this guy. He's a reporter. He's out there. He's filming. I mean, let me shake your hand, man.
I appreciate you, man. I'm Aiden.
Yeah, what's up, Omari, man?
Nice to meet
you. Yeah, that night was, man, it was wild. And we got, it was so much gas that night.
Yeah,
and the
rubber
bullets.
When they pushed us here, dude, the guy playing the bagpipes?
Yeah.
That was fucking badass. There was like a whole line of police and like a line of people and dude with bagpipes.
And it was just playing the bag. That was also, I tell the story about that nurse. That was the night that the guy, he was in his blue scrubs right there. He came from Swedish Hospital, and he had joined in the protest, and they had pushed guys back a few times, remember that day? And he was standing right over there, kind of where that awning is. It was hands up, don't shoot. And he got tear gassed. And then the next day, 12 nurses from Swedish came out from Swedish. I remember that day, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man, because that day I was out reporting, bro. I couldn't do anything, and you guys helped me move around, man.
Hell yeah.
God bless. Be safe. Thank you. Whew. Damn, we done been through so much out here, and you think about it, I'm like, let me forget all about this stuff. What's up, Jake? You finally got some sleep, huh?
I was out early.
Good for you.
And then woke up at typical old man time, which was like 6:50.
Oh man! I hope you read the newspaper and drunk a coffee and do whatever else old men do. Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm coffee right now.
All right.
I'm bust in.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff. So, we'll wait for Bobby Stills. Then we'll probably call it a day. But well, actually, we're not calling it a day at all. Man, next up is the morning update show. I don't know how fast I'll be able to turn this footage, but we got the morning update show, which is coming up here at the top of the hour from 11 to 12. Big news here is that it's news but no news. And that is exactly what's been reported out here, and people who are actually kind of keeping their ear to the street know that the 10th Avenue barricade was going to be coming up. We thought that it was going to be lifted yesterday, but of course, with the tragic events on Sunday night, we pretty much knew for sure that wasn't going to happen. And then on that date, we had confirmation that Parks was going to be here today, and that's exactly what we reported. And then what else occurred today is that SDOT came with some fast-moving bulldozers, and they've cleared the 10th Avenue barricade. You see the protesters have now, they've put in their soft barricade. But again, they met zero resistance. We saw Deputy Chief Diaz there, as well as about 6 or 7 officers. We saw them there. Protesters have been saying for a long time, though, that they didn't want to keep that cement. But it's never a consensus, as we see that some protesters have now built a soft barricade, saying that it's for safety for them, and then other protesters are saying that they want to be able to protect this mural here, which is this Black Lives Matter mural. So we're going to hop right now so we can get ready for the update show at 11 o'clock. Wherever you're seeing this stream, you can catch us right there. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Sorry. Exactly, Timmy Johnston. Not all people like me. Not all people have a corporate grocery job. You can follow the fucking money, people. What happened when COVID hit? Oh, live venues. All independent restaurants and chain restaurants. Chain restaurants were already prepared for takeout. Ooh. Not to say that it's a conspiracy, but like, they fucked us all.
Like the culture that now we're in, like the guy from the Nachos Spicy Limonches, Post Malone.
Oh yeah.
They were the originators of the tattoo culture, like in the Post Malone culture.
Interesting.
I don't know why I came up with that, but yeah, it just seems like that moment.
Yeah, it's interesting. What I love about this guy, is he's stopping us from blocking the freeway all the way by talking, but he's helping us block this more by just talking, you know?
Yeah, I recall you. I've seen you multiple times.
Oh yeah, I know.
I was like, yeah, that's 100% solidarity. Not all of them are bad. A lot of them are very hard-working people.
That's all right.
Suffering levels that you wouldn't think of. They're mowing lawns and rain because they don't have paper.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even do that in building construction.
Well, not even that. Like, hey, SPD already blocks the freeway for us.
The right wages too if they're here.
Yeah. Very much so, man.
Yeah, I had some good week today, so I'm thinking I'm out in stars. It's a pleasure to see you.
Definitely, thank you.
I'm just gonna
actually right here.
See where my energy takes me.
Definitely, thank you. It looks like we're backing out. Oh, hey, they're blocking it for us. Look at.
I don't know if they're blocking it for us or if they're gonna try and detain anybody who.
They want to block it.
Yeah, can somebody go ask them real quick, double check. Sorry. Oh, what? What? The mayor or somebody? Who knows?
I don't give excuses.
Yeah, when he wants to let it go, let me go forward.
I'm pushing every day. I'm pushing every day.
Hell yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, and that's what we gotta talk. And that's what
One second, I'll move forward, Jesus. Come on. You look a bit further over. Let me scroll this up. Okay. You look a bit further over behind everybody. You'll see flashing lights. They're there to get us, or flashing lights to help block the freeway for us. Thank you. You're going to block the freeway. then I'll pull up this again real quick. Pull it on in, sorry. Yep, that's true exactly, other Bob. Alright, going back up. Okay, let's go, Bob. This is getting scary, kind of, but awesome. Look at those fucking buildings. So sorry. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry.
You just can't block it with the car,
Okay, definitely.
Thank you.
They're gonna, okay, thank you.
What did you just say?
He said I just can't block it with a car.
Huh?
He said I just can't block it with a car.
Okay.
Yeah, he said with a car, maybe a truck. Maybe we should get a truck. Maybe we get a truck then next time. Did it say truck? You only said car, right? The whole up is, we got onto the freeway entrance and blocked it.
You have 2 minutes to discuss this. 2.
I'll honk at them.
Period.
Hey guys.
Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. These people have been
When that Miss Andrews can you ask her what I should do? And as we're waiting for them to see what we go forward. But if we don't go forward, make sure she comes and tells me what to do.
Okay, yeah, we're probably not going forward.
No, I know, but he's talking with them over there. See if they can block the block. Unfortunately, they are. It's slow. So.
all day. All day. Whose life matters? Whose life matters?
wants her. And he watches her. Hold on. Hold on. I think he watches her. I think he wants just one. Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys. Keep it blocked. Keep it blocked. Because I can block it. They won't let me block it. They said no cars. We need a truck then. Maybe a scooter or 5.
I'm really confused about it.
Well, if you see the traffic out there, it's going really slow. So they are trying to block it. You'll be staying on Chevy So at the moment, there's confusion as to what we're doing.
Okay, yeah,
We're hanging out.
Yeah, we're hanging out.
Okay. We're rolling out.
We're
rolling out.
Come this way, we are rolling out.
Can you guys direct me backwards?
Okay, yeah, I can do it.
Right now.
Our job here was so done.
Block the intersection.
We just disrupted like never before. And nobody jumped on any cars. Nobody. They touch you. No, I'm just saying right now.
Thank you. Yeah, they're gonna roll on out. We were gonna go to the freeway.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
We need to block the intersection one more time so that our friend can back up.
Friend, I'm your brother. I think the brother, I think, right?
Yeah, they finna let you out.
I know, I'm gonna try.
Mucho.
I was gonna back up, but I'll go forward and around, you know? I'll go the wrong way. The only problem is he actually I can. Alright. Hey guys. Can you get them one more second, one more over here?
What's that?
Can you all make space? Can you all take a corner and make space, please?
Yes.
Can you make space? Thank you.
You want to back up? Go over here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Heads up.
All right, everybody. Let's get this hot dog in the line.
Against the grain. Against the grain.
Where should I go? That way? You want to get in here with me?
We'll have to whip around.
Can you get in here with me, I guess?
Huh?
Can you get in here with me so they don't...
I need to walk with these guys.
No, I agree. So, I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. Wait.
I think
Go this way.
Yeah. We're going to go down instead.
Let that go through. Okay. Now come around. Come around. Come around. Just come around. Go around. Yes, thank you. No, I know.
Anybody who is in my group, I need you to get this hot dog on the road history. Disengage. 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 Dis. Let's take the go, kid. I got you ready. You're going 73 and a 70.
They're being very nice. They're being very nice, but fuck them, but they're being very nice. Thank you guys. They could have rolled in and been like, hey, don't do this, and they're still there. These guys.
If
Hey, sorry, Omari. I mean, I wish I could have been there. But I'll see you guys soon. Sorry, I just need to let you know. I'm sure you can tell, but I'm a little busy. Yeah, I heard they removed a few barricades at CHOP. That was part of the plan. How's that? Thank you. Youth Care Ryan Center. Proud of it. Yeah, if you ever have a problem and you need to get somewhere, come talk to us in the front. Or, you know, if you're stuck in the back, that sucks. Look at this guy. I'm sorry.
March with us. Come on, what are you doing right now? You're marching around the building. You march with us? Yeah.
Slow down.
That's right. We don't look for you.
Just like, oh no, I gotta get somewhere. And I know, buddy. But you know what? If there was an accident right up ahead, you'd have worse fucking traffic because they take so goddamn long.
I don't know why they're
Please go remove those cones.
I already told him no.
This is not what we're doing. You stay.
Hey. Can you let him through? Can you guys let him through? Yeah, let him through. Going through. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Exactly, my toes are soaked. Fuck.
Hey, man, you don't touch the phone, bro. Hey, I just said don't touch no more cones, bro. You gotta touch the cones, bro.
No, we're not all unanimous.
No,
it's
it's my
okay.
decision.
We got people. You can make a black line if you want. Then come forward. You can get like 5 people.
What did you ever saw? Nardwuar the Human Serviette? It's good. It's funny. He just talks about to different artists and shit, but he's very informed.
Ah.
Yeah.
Can you please not put cones in the middle of the road?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, we're making the 10 a.m. traffic like the 8 a.m. traffic. Sorry. And the 5 p.m. traffic. Like, it takes me a half an hour to an hour to move 1 block sometimes because the Denny exit or an entrance ramp is a piece of shit. They can make it on all walk so then the people can cross and then we don't have to worry about the people fucking crossing. Sorry, ma'am. You could have waited for me to cross, but I didn't see you crossing with the airport bus. I apologize.
Every single day, 8 a.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. in Kyle Anderson Park. We will be out here all day, every day. And if you're annoyed, I encourage you to put pressure on your government to get us to leave. We have one city council member that needs to be on board.
It's good to go that way, it's empty, but let's just go straight. Be nice. You guys gotta go that way. Thank you, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's oh sorry, the weather wouldn't be the reason why there's less people. It's because they started at 8, didn't tell anybody, and yeah, that's why the SPD was like, oh shit, oh no, ah, fuck. I spilled my.
Justice!
Howdy. Man, let me have him get me some chicken. Oh well.
We have a march every single day at 8 a.m., 7 p.m., and 8 p.m. The Kyle Anderson Park.
Come here.
We will. We don't need this. We will. We don't need this. We will. Defund all these. We will. We don't need this. We will. We don't need this. We will. Defund all these. We will. Defund all these. Who's like better? Who's like better? Honk that horn. Honk that horn. Honk that horn. Honk that horn.
Come on, S-Dot. Come on, S-Dot. Exactly, yeah.
And as we're going up here, you can see that revolver bar is maybe open, but probably has been closed for a while. Hillside bar, again, maybe open, probably not. Probably been closed for a while. Who knows if they will reopen. Back there, Hula Hula. Maybe will reopen, who knows. I don't know. Some of them are open soon. Very nice dogs. Thank you. That's probably my union. All right.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want
We're good to go. Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
if you're really angry at what is going on, I want to see your fists in the air, and I want you to make as much noise as you can until we get to that light. Are you ready? Whether that's clapping or yelling, whatever you need to do. 1, 2, 3. Defund SPD, how much? 15% at least. Defund SPD, how much? 15% at least. Defund SPD, how much? 16% at least. Defund SPD, how much? 15% at least. Where does the money go? To black communities. Where does the money go? To black communities. Where does the money go? To black communities. 3. Who do you free? Who do you free? 3. Who do you free? Don't forget number 4. No will you jail. Don't forget number 4. No will you jail. Don't forget number 4. No will you jail. Don't forget why you're here. Black lives matter. Don't forget why you're here. Black lives matter. 50%. Round of applause. Gather up.
Was that Culpepper? I'll ask him later. I don't know. Look kind of like him in a way. Sorry, you know what I mean. Same facial features and voice.
Black hair. Black hair. Black men. Black men. Black children. Black babies. Black women. Black trans women. Black trans men. Black disabled. Black homeless. Black communities. Black minds. Black intellect. Black skin. Whose life matters? Whose life matters? Say that louder. All day. All
For a moment, or was it Broadway? Or on Broadway, sorry. Jesus, look at all those comments. Hello, everybody. Again, if you want to support me, I'm going to put my stuff on here real quick, obviously, because I lost my job a couple days ago. Sorry, they fired me. Thank you guys.
Educate yourself, have uncomfortable conversations, call out your roommates, call out your families. Sign a petition for Ty Anders. Call your council members. Call your mayor. Write email.
Come on.
What are you doing back there?
I was saying, baby. I just told you that you like food. That's what I said. That's all. I was trying to do that. Go ahead.
Food lives matter.
Oh, Native Lives Matter.
The food streets are we on? Food streets are we on? Food streets are we on? And Native Americans, again, they fluctuate between the black community with the highest rate of killing. But they are not advertised nearly, they are not on the media nearly as much as even the black community is. Those communities are silent even more so than ours.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Johnson, I'm working on it.
Their streets are their streets. We need to fight for them as well.
Write this down for a second. Let me show you how to smoke my cigarette. I have to use that to see the cigarette. Can't really see it in the mask.
But again, I have talked to so many elders who are discouraged, who don't believe that this is their fight, and don't believe that this is done. But we can. Can we say we can? We can. We Anywhere. tell you otherwise. They only kill the shit that is not important. That's right. Welcome home, everyone.
Yeah, welcome home. Hey. Yeah, get an update of what's been happening while you're all been away. Keeping everything safe. Did I get your microphone?
Oh, yes, we did. I wrote every single one of the names. There is blood everywhere. There's blood everywhere. Yes. No.
Beautiful.
No.
Vandalism.
We were peaceful.
Alright, peaceful protest.
We almost shut down the freeway. We have 4 6 patrols, an SPD.
All right, let me go outside here. Hi, Amy.
The city has requested this barrier is done. That's why you see the physical, like actual city.
Oh, my life is nice. That was like, how many hours? Jesus.
To that extent, we agree.
2 hours,
We're gonna,
50 minutes.
You're pro.
Oh man, that was
because
ridiculous.
our numbers have decreased, we're going to consolidate in front of the precinct itself. All of those barriers will be maintained. The only reason why this temporary barrier was here was until we got absolute assurance from the city that the mural will be preserved. All right. Yes, I'm getting it from Shafali right now, and once we get that, that's when we're going to be removing it. All right. This mural will be preserved. At this point, again, because of our numbers, we do need to start consolidating, make a tactical retreat towards just the precinct. Yeah. In my opinion, if we do increase the numbers again, looking at you, everybody that's watching, if we increase the numbers again, hell, we can take over the whole park. Hell, we can take over the whole city if we increase numbers. But right now, we're keeping pressure on the precinct itself. You guys hear me better?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, giving everybody an update as to what's been happening while you beautiful people have been away here in the chop zone. SDOT came and negotiated and requested that this barricade be removed in order to have, in order to maintain,
we don't need it.
Exactly, in order to maintain certain through traffic and also to allow the residents to get certain utilities.
I don't care.
We're all for that.
I can make a fake pass.
We want the people of Seattle. Again, we are not Seattle against Seattle. We're not protesting against Seattle. We are Seattle against SPD.
Of course. Oh, is that SPD up there? Can you open this up? Can you open this up so I can come through?
Let's all not panic.
Can you open this up so I can
Because it only takes, yeah. Not everybody needs to panic right now. Okay?
I'm gonna bring my car around. Can you open this up so I can get through? Somebody.
Can we help open this up so Homeboy can get through?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah. Hey, thank you. Can we say thank you, Dan?
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Help keep our rears protected from any
Crazy
anal
cars.
penetration from cars.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yep, vulgar.
That big truck. I mean, come on. What the heck is
I'm
that?
sorry.
I should have just been like, here, here's $5. Is that okay? You know? Here you go.
Period.
I forgot I had it in my butt.
How much are you all at 7, 8?
7 and 8 p.m.
I'm going to be asleep. I think. No. Thank
I
you
need an
guys.
elbow from everyone.
Oh, shit.
Come on. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, that was insane. Sorry.
Thank you, everybody who just helped spread the word. We did our job. We did our job.
But again, want to clarify, the reason is only once we get actual confirmation that every day.
SDOT coming in today to do this work?
No, this has been, a process that we started last Friday. And then, we acknowledged that on Sunday that we were going to come in as well. And then today was just another avenue for us to be able to see if we can't get in and be able to clear some of this area.
I got a question from.
The park is closing at Canoe?
That I can.
Sir, why are the police here today, though? And that this was an SDOT and Seattle Parks kind of mission. The last time they came in here, there was no police presence. Why is there a police presence today? Did SDOT request you, or did you guys volunteer for that, or did the chief assign you to it?
No, we're just working in a mutual partnership. We've always been in assistance with SDOT in a lot of different functions. Friday, they tried to remove some of the barriers. They were met with a little bit of resistance. So today, we just we're working in partnership for this.
The other day, I seen a car.
Right. Will you guys stay out here whenever SDOT moves now?
No, I think we're going to be moving from this point on. So, thank you.
What's your reaction?
So you see right there, Seattle Police Department Deputy Chief Adrian Diaz giving an explanation as to what's going on out in the CHOP earlier. And I mean, a lot of people we've known here on the ground that those barricades were most likely going to get removed. Well, actually, that they were going to get removed. The majority of the protesters in the tented area have said for a while now that they had no concern about those particular barricades, and they even in a few different meetings that we either saw or directly heard back about, that they said that they wouldn't meet any resistance, and absolutely no resistance was met with the barricade removal by SDOT. What did happen, though, is that the protesters just built a soft barricade. They took a barricade made of like couches. They took barricades made of like an old stove is out there. There's some sides. I mean, the necessity's the mother of innovation, man. And so there's a new barricade 10 minutes there after SDOT left, clearly a soft one, though. And the reasoning behind it is a few people was like it was all about safety, but a few other people, they want to protect the Black Lives Matter mural that's right there on Pine Street. And so they don't want any cars going over the mural until there's actually a final plan for it.
Yeah, well, I think that, some of that does make some sense to me. I mean, clearly, there was a barricade down on 10th for a reason. And ultimately, there are some diehard protesters out here who are like, okay, cool, you're not going to meet any resistance. However, we have some things that we want to make sure we protect. And I think that mural is super special. I could understand a bit of that sentiment.
Right. And, I mean, in the city, in some of the city's talks, the city, some people are clearly talking beyond CHOP. So whenever this issue is resolved, and they talked about some things staying, some of the people talked about the garden that's back there, the mural, building a permanent space for conversation, because the Conversation Cafe, and the memorial wall. These are just things that you hear from both sides, from the protesters and from the city, as far as that goes. We did talk to the Office of Human Services, so that's another department that's here right now. I'm gonna talk to them more in depth when we get off air, but I asked them to text me over exactly what Human Services is doing. And Human Services, one of their big things is Human Services. There is a sizable population over there that is homeless or unhoused, living in tents. And so I talked to Will Lemke, city's Human Services Department. He says, here's what they've been doing. He sent me quite a list, but I'll try to run down here quickly. Human Services is on site today. They have a tent over in Broadway and Pine over at the Seattle Central College. They've been over there. Outreach workers are there and ready to help folks with over services and shelter the unhoused. So, one of the things that we've heard is a lot of people are saying they don't have anywhere else to go outside of the park. So it looks like the city is trying to do something there. They were there last week. We did see them there last week in their tent. They brought in community partners and social service providers in the tent, along with sending outreach teams into the CHOP. So they should be walking through the CHOP. DESC has been out there along with Youth Care, Reach, the Urban League, and Mary's Place. So it looks like they've partnered with a bunch of different organizations that actually understand that space. Mary's Place is one that really jumps out to me as one that works with people who are homeless or in a marginalized or housing situation. Working to get those agencies back on site today and in the days ahead. City outreach workers will be on site through the afternoon and probably back tomorrow. Since last week, city workers have made 124 engagements, connected 19 people to social services, and referred 18 people to shelter. And he says, we're making sure we have socially distanced shelter that works for young people. That's all he has at the moment. So Human Services, I mean, they've been responsive. We wanted to speak to somebody. I'm supposed to talk to Jay Johnson, who's the director of Human Services, after our show today. But it looks like they're trying to make an effort to not necessarily push the homeless or the unhoused population, but they're definitely making an effort to get that park back, while at the same time trying to create a pathway for the unhoused.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that there's a litany of services. And again, I think being smart to understand what is needed, obviously, I don't know if they actually utilize, and I don't know if the survey from the Black Collective Voice would have been helpful, but things like that, taking whatever data they can to make sure that the proper services are here on site is super important right now. And I also think, trying to address maybe some of the public concerns around the area involving health and wellness. And so it's good that they have those agencies on board.
Right. And I think that one of the things Seattle Parks is doing, as well as Human Services, part of their action is in response to the residents and people living in the neighborhood. Just a heads up that we can hear a helicopter over us here. It's been hovering for quite a while. Don't know what's happening outside, but we're here in the chop. It's always something going on. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have Coach Dom. He goes, that's what they call him on the streets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In the boardroom too, though. Yeah. But we've got Coach Dominic Davis. He's from Community Passageways. An organization that's really, when we use the word marginalized, a lot of times it's been working with youth in a lot of the legacy neighborhoods of Seattle, which the Central District and the South End, but also into Greater King County. He's one of the people that have been deployed here on the ground, and we want to be able to talk to him about his observations, but also, Triana, there has been a considerable uptick in violence in the South End and the CD, and some of it actually very well might have its roots right here in the CHOP. But a lot of what's going on in South Seattle is underreported because a lot of media resources, even like ourselves, are talking about what's going on right here. So Coach Dom will kind of bring us up to speed on that as well. So,
yeah, that's good.
Yep, so we'll take a short break right now. We'll be right back. You are watching the Morning Update Show.
I haven't used it in years, but I kind of needed it and started it literally the day or the day after, maybe the day before, I don't know exactly, the day I got fired for stupid reasons, which I'm 99% sure is because my year anniversary is coming up. I don't really need to run on it, but wow. Thank you again, and maybe I'll see you later today. Maybe I'll just take a little bit more time off of streaming. I don't know. Probably should go home and go to sleep. I do not have Cash App, unfortunately. That just sounds weird to me, but maybe it's better than those. If you want to tell me on the comments later on this, that'd be cool, but I don't know. I'm not really big on 50 million different sources that have my bank info, I only had, actually, the PayPal is from, the early PayPal. I don't know, eBay in the late 90s, because I bought some things on there when I was in high school. Alright. I should probably end this because I'm getting loopy, and I should get some fresh air and some coffee, food, and a lot of other things, maybe some stuff to wake me up. Hey, no, FB Pay, Zelle, no. Again, there's FB Pay, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. The only people that really like to have my bank info to transfer stuff Yeah, I will soon. Thank you, Heather. Only one I would be like a credit card. I'd have to pay off. I don't even give like T-Mobile my number or my things for auto pay, and I should. But sorry again, I'm rambling because I'm tired. I am a rambling Dan. So cool. Thank you guys very much. Check me out on all of the things again. Legacy X0 on pretty much all of the things except for Snap because I don't like Snap and the TikToks. So thank you once again. Good night. I hope. Wow. Where's the camera? Whoa, the camera's in right there. Okay, bye. I can see you.
Have to explain that a lot. So we're a felony diversion program. I seen that I was one of the founders of Choose 180 back in 2010, 2011, and with a group of other people, and we were diverting misdemeanors out of the system. So when I realized after about 5 years of doing that work that this is really working and was doing a good job, we diverted like 3,000 or so misdemeanors out of juvenile courts. But I was also seeing a lot of young black young men and young women going through the system that were facing felony charges, and there was no second chance or no opportunity for them to get a better organization to help them navigate that system, right? And get another chance at doing something better with their life. It was heartbreaking because, I mean, I'm doing something with this group of kids, but then you got this group of kids over here that once you commit a felony, it's a wash. You're just going through the system. So I decided I had to do something about it. Hence, now we got community passageways. We've been up and running for about 3.5 years, and we've been able to divert about 150 years of prison and jail time off the table in 3.5 years. So it's been pretty powerful work.
Right. Now, you're here in the CHOP. I saw you, was it yesterday or the day before? You had actually called me a week ago. You're like, man, what's going on down there? You know, what's happening? And yesterday you came. I think one of the first things you did was actually sit with us to at least kind of get our perspective. After moving around over here, excuse me, and I know you talked to quite a few people in the tented area and everything else. What are some of your first impressions over here in CHOP? And maybe you can talk about your approach as to how you're usually dealing with the people you deal with on the South End and the CD, and how someone like you on the ground might be a part of the pot. I don't think there's a silver bullet with this or one thing and it's whatever. But what we do know is that for us, we talked about it yesterday, even as Converge, we sit here and do a lot of work that people like yourself could probably do, or do de-escalation, trying to, you know what I'm saying, communication, this person, that person, everything else. I've asked you a lot of things all in one time, but let's start with the first thing. What were some of your impressions of the CHOP yesterday?
First of all, when I came here, I came with the mindset of I'm not here to save anybody. I'm not here to fix anything. I'm here to learn. So I walked in wanting to learn and get information. That's one of the reasons why I reached out to you to talk to you, because you're here every day, and I wanted to talk to the people on the ground. And so my first impression was, who are the leaders here? Like, where's the leadership? Is there a leadership team here that I could talk to and get information from? Because the way I've been able to position myself in the community is I'm in the community, 109,000. This is my whole body, mind, and soul is in the community. But I've been able to have to navigate systems in order to benefit my community and get the results that I want out of what the work that I do, right? And so I got a unique position where I can push systems in a direction sometimes and put some things on the table. So when I'm here, I came in with the lens of what can I do to find out information from you guys here to be able to take it back to systems and say, here's what needs to happen for these people. This is what they need over here. You need to answer some of these demands and give these people what they need. Here's my biggest thing that I took away from yesterday was, we're dealing with people First of all, institutional racism and oppression is the reason why this is happening in the first place, period. And I think we're starting to lose a grip on the fact that institutional racism and oppression has put us in this position. No matter all the circumstances that are happening around here, all the violence or whatever's going on, institutional racism perpetuated that. There's people that have been marginalized, disenfranchised, and their voices have not been heard. They have not been able to put a stake and say they own anything. They've been underserved by every system that there is, by every government system. So after I realized that, I'm saying these people found a voice. They found something to put their stake into and say they own. They're not being harassed by police or systems, right? They developed their own community and their own system. And they really feel like they found their oasis of, I can stick my chest out and be proud of something now. Whereas oppressive systems have decimated that for all kind of people of color. But even white folks out here that have been oppressed are out here with their stake in the ground, say, this is our area. We own this. We don't get to say that very often, you know?
Yeah,
so that's one of the
true.
first things I walked away with, was seeing that this is what we're seeing and this is what we're dealing with. Now what we need to do is get an understanding of, if you want to do something different here, and this is my opinion, if you want to do something to affect what's going on out here and bring these people into a better position, the people that are in CHOP in a better position, you need to put resources behind them. You need to answer their demands and put resources behind them. Every demand ain't probably going to get answered, but I know that there need to, I'm saying to them yesterday, I'm like, you guys need to go after what you really want right now, right? Don't sit here and just be a sitting duck waiting for these people to come through and bulldoze you. And so that's what I can get deeper into that if you want to ask more questions about that. But I'm going to be careful about my words, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, well, you should. The whole world's watching.
Yeah.
And tell us, are there any situations now that clearly this CHOP thing is its own world, but are there any kind of similar types of things that you see, you know, in your work in the Central District in South Seattle that kind of might have some parallels even on a one-on-one level or a larger like group level that you've worked with and maybe helped resolve or transition through?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm gonna answer that question. I want to talk about how what's happening in CHOP has fallen into our communities in South Seattle.
We definitely.
So I want to go there in a minute. So I'll answer your
that
question first, and then so the phone call that I was just on, I'll just use that as an example. Right before I came on, we were sitting next to each other. I'm on the phone with a young man, and the young man was saying how he'd been through all those systems, foster care, CPS, since he was 10, 11, 12 years old, in and out of juvenile, even without even committing a criminal offense. They didn't have nowhere to put him, so they put him in juvenile. So he's been through all these systems that have failed him. Right? This happens regularly, every day. I deal with this daily, right? So these systems, so what are we raising? What are we growing? What are we supporting? What do you think the results of this young person's life is going to be as he keeps getting shoved through system after system after system after system? Then as he falls into his adulthood, he has committed some juvenile offenses, survival crimes. You got to survive every day, right? You need to eat. You need to have some money. You need to have some money. So the survival crimes that he committed, he got charged as an adult at 15 years old, 16 years old. He got charged. And so then he comes out of that, he says his caseworker says, if you just go to work every day, if you just pay your taxes, if you just do some volunteer work in the community, your life will be so much better. You won't have to deal with none of these systems. Well, he started doing that. He started working 2 jobs. He has a kid. He volunteers in the community. He started doing all that. And then all of a sudden, an incident happens. Somebody steals his motorcycle that he built with his own 2 hands for him and his child to ride on. Right? Somebody steals it. He goes back. He sees the people loading it in a truck. He goes to take his motorcycle back. They pepper spray him when their police come. Guess who they criminalized? After they ran his criminal background and found out when he was a juvenile that he had all these charges. Right? Before that, they were helping him wipe the stuff out of his eyes because he got maced by the people that stole it. Right? They were helping him. But then they ran his name, seen a criminal background. Now they criminalized him and said, oh, that must be their motorcycle and you stole it from them. So now he's facing another assault, robbery charge, whatever, right? This is how systems operate. Now the dude's on the phone literally crying to me saying, I did everything right. I did everything right. I've been trying to do everything right. Look what I got to deal with now. Now he's scared they're about to lock him up because when he goes to court today, I got to be on the phone with him at court because he's scared they're going to give him a high bail and lock him up because of his juvenile record. He's like, I'm going to lose both my jobs and I got to take care of my baby. You feel what I'm saying? Gosh. This is what I deal with every day. Oppressive, racist institutions.
Right.
Yes.
And now tell us, One thing when we talked yesterday, and that's why I thought it was important to bring you on here as well, is even though we're broadcasting from the CHOP, Converge Media is a Central District. This is where we're from. You're talking to two bulldogs right here. You know what I'm saying? And when you brought to my attention, you said that there's been an uptick in violence in the South End and part of the Central District and everything else. And there very well might, one that's just underreported as usual. And so we wanted to give you some time here to be able to tell people like what's actually going on out there in the South End, and two, if there's any connection between the shooting up here, I guess almost a week and a half ago, and what might be going on out in the streets.
Okay, yeah. We've been
chatter as to motivation or who is involved, and this one remains much more of a mystery than the others. And as far as I know, nobody knows what's going on yet. So, reports of CHOP being dismantled. No. So what happened this morning is SDOT and some members of SPD came in and they removed the barricades that are on 10th. And so I'm walking you down there now. This is 11th. So none of these are being touched. Again, SDOT is saying they are not going to move the barricades except for on 10th. And again, Cal Anderson is supposed to be closing at noon. I don't know if the signs are still up because signs have generally been being torn down pretty quickly after anything official is posted. So you can see we're walking down where the Black Lives mural is. This is where they came in and took down the concrete barricades, and some of the residents of CHOP moved a bunch of furniture in because they want to know what the plan is to protect the mural. Let's see, just see in the comment, does the most recent shooting seem to lack a clear story for a specific reason? What do you think contributes to the lack of clarity there? Oh God, it's a can of worms. I mean, I don't know why there's not a clear story on that one. Everything here is so murky. There's almost no actual video footage of anything. Part of that I was hearing from business owners is because all of the security cameras have been tagged, so they're covered in spray paint, so none of it's getting recorded. And there's really just no real information. I've heard a lot of different rumors, but as of now, I haven't heard anything that feels concrete enough for me to try and say what happened. Okay, so this is where they took the barriers out. We're on 10th now. This is some stuff that's been moved in. There was some furniture in the road earlier. But, it kind of sounds like most of the protesters have always felt that this wasn't a defensible area. So it all went out very peacefully. Anyways, this is where they all went down. You can see that furniture's been brought over. I'm seeing if you all go down and talk to people, you hear what is up. Can you elaborate on that, commenter? Because my experience has been, I have been talking to people that live there and organizers, and they are all telling me about 8 different stories. So if you have a clear one, I would love to hear it. Because I don't think it's a matter of there being one story that's not getting out. I think everyone saw different aspects of it. Everyone has a different angle. And I personally, from what I heard, am not willing to say that I think any of what I've heard is verifiably true. I'm just going to say that this one, like everything else, is complicated. Okay, going through the ballpark now. Yeah, definitely this has cleared out a lot. Almost everyone's gone from the ballpark. Also, I should say, if anybody does have any concrete info on what happened with the most recent shooting, I would really love to be able to look into it more, because I'm pretty in the dark and everyone I've talked to is equally, we have no idea. Yeah, there are no clear stories about anything around here, just consensus, and you kind of have to bring in the most informed opinion that you can, and your informed opinion depends on who you've talked to. Okay. Does anyone else have other questions? I kind of just wanted to do a walkthrough to see how people were responding to the barricades and whether or not it seems to be widely known that theoretically the park is going to be declared closed at noon, which is really soon. I hear you saying join a signal group. I am in 16 signal groups. I don't think it's a matter of me not being connected. I think that there's a lot of misinformation. I haven't seen Boots or Raz today. I think I last saw Boots with the truck and Fox News reporter incident, which, was that yesterday? I think that was just yesterday. What is time? The gardens are good. I'm right next to them now. We can go walk through them and visit the plants. That's always a nice thing to do amid all this. What's going to happen to the garden when the park closes? I think, Marcus, are you still on the stream? If you are, can you answer to that? I don't know. That's something enough people have been asking about that maybe I'll try and get an update on the garden later. I'm not up on the current info on that one. Okay, what is going to be shut down exactly? Did the city give a reason for shutting down Cal Anderson? I think the idea is that they're just trying to clear the population of people that are living here. And the wording on the sign was pretty vague. It was just posted on the exterior walls before they got taken down. So, I mean, as far as I know, shutting down the park, basically all city officials are just trying to reduce the population here. Where are they sending the homeless folks? Do I know their plan? Yes, this is Callie Anderson. I know that they have been sending in folks from various city organizations, and if anyone knows specifically which ones, chime in the comments, to try and help with getting support for the population here that needs to go somewhere else. And there is a resources tent outside of the shop that I believe is by Seattle Central that is supposed to help with that transition. So I do know that there have been people on the ground for, I want to say, at least 4 or 5 days. But again, I don't even know what time is anymore. Helping with that transition. So it's not a matter, I want to make clear, the city is not just basically coming in and saying, like, everyone get out. They've been working with the population here for a number of days, trying to help with the transition resources that people here might need. I do think they have to have shelter available. I don't know the specifics of what that plan is. Oh gosh, what's in store for CHOP organizers with regard to future protests or organizing? Where should we go to find that info? It's complicated because, again, there's no leaders of this space. There are kind of a number of different groups that have emerged out of this. And I would say, kind of the people that I'm backing in this from my personal perspective, from being on the ground, I think that the group that's best equipped to take the positive side of what's happened around CHOP and move that forward is the group Black Collective Voice. And if someone could throw their Instagram handle and everything else in the comments, that would be great. Oh yeah, yes, throw all those comments there. Defund SPD, COVID-19 Mutual Aid, King County Equity Now is another one. Those are all good resources. Also, of course, Nikita Oliver, Ijeoma Oluo, they're all rebroadcasting a lot of stuff. Yes. Oh, hi, Sarah. Nice to see you here. Yeah, that calendar that Cabasar just posted is a good aggregate of stuff that's going on. Yeah, so basically everyone in the comments, I totally back everything I'm seeing you put here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my lair because I have to do another drawing thing, but it seems like it might get interesting with clearing out the park. We got a news helicopter up there. And I will keep you posted if anything very exciting comes down. Oh, and again, if anyone's interested, I'm going to be on KUOW at around 12:47, talking about what it's been like covering this. So 12:47 KUOW.
centers. We're trying to empty the detention center out. We had a meeting yesterday about getting everybody out the detention center, putting them on house arrest so our kids ain't locked up being isolated because of COVID, you know, stuff like that. So we're working on all kind of different legislation and ordinances and everything. So I'm not just doing diversion in the community. I know you see me running around in the streets or whatever, but we got a lot of back hallway stuff that we're doing too. So.
Amazing work, Dom, with Community Passageway. Shout out to you and your team over there.
Thank you.
Great
I
work.
appreciate you guys, and I appreciate this platform you guys have built. I'm honored to be here.
Fantastic. It was great to have you here. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we're going to recap the day's developments here. And also you know, it's a lot of fellow media professionals that watch this show. You know what I'm saying? You know, it would be great if people could also give some follow-up with Coach Dom. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to tell people about the uptick in gun violence that they're experiencing out there in South Seattle. So maybe we can help get some more spotlight as to what's going on out there. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got more of the Morning Update Show. And it says the easy, cool, and laid-back style of the entrenched CHOP reporting while youths getting gunned down in the streets is truly hard to stomach. So they're talking about me here. This is specifically in reference to Omari Saw. So let me tell you something in CHOP now. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in this city, the very first person I saw murdered, 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? On 24th. Right over there, right off of Cherry, in my front yard, 7 years old. I went to James A. Garfield High School. You know what I'm saying? Who I went to high school with. Merrick Murray, I was a high schooler, murdered. You know what I'm saying? June, murdered. On and on and on and on. So you're right. I've had a lifetime before I was ever a professional, and now a professional, of talking and seeing murder right here in the Emerald City and other places around the world. So I'm sorry if my life experience here, since I was a small child and seeing people die, it's built something around me where I could sit here and be able to come back and talk about. But don't mistake that as the fact of somebody being uncaring, because you know what I also did yesterday is I talked to Lorenzo Anderson's mama. Have you I've talked to these parents out here. Have you, or are you just on Twitter? You see what I'm saying? I've dealt a lifetime now, decades of violence. Man, when Connor Dasa Holland was murdered out in Rainier Beach, I guess you wasn't watching my show then, were you? But see, we cover everything here. So it's good. You keep on being a Twitter gangster out there and telling us what we're not doing. My question to you, NCHOP now, is what are you doing?
Yes. Oh, yes. Put it out there. Oh said, you know what? I got this. Before we went live, let me know he got this. And I'm going to tell you right now. Also, you didn't see our show yesterday. So I just got to say, literally yesterday, everybody was having to make sure you were okay, Omari, because your sentiment shined
and
through.
did the show anyway yesterday.
Yes, literally. So,
in a very emotional state for what I witnessed over here. So you take your sensationalism on Twitter and you take it somewhere else. Because one thing we do here is we keep it real. Absolutely. That being said, let me hit you with the recap.
Yes.
About 9 o'clock this morning over on 10th and Pike, the SDOT entered into the far western barricade where the cement blocks are. They came in with the fast-moving bulldozers. They cleared 10th Avenue from north to south, and they also cleared 10th Avenue where they cleared Pine from north to south and 10th Avenue from east to west. Who we saw on the scene besides SDOT was also Assistant Chief Adrian Diaz with a small contingent of Seattle police officers. They stayed kind of back to the side, although Chief Diaz did make himself available for questions. We spoke to him. At the same time, Seattle Parks Department had put up some signs saying that Cal Anderson Park would be closing today at 12 o'clock. As soon as SDOT cleared the area, and we had reported that it was going to be happening in a few days, as soon as SDOT actually cleared the area, the protesters came right back down, and it was like, SDOT was like, hey, we've moved a barricade, and the protesters were like, hold my beer. And they came and they made their own barricade, and so they have a barricade there, which they said for two reasons, which they explained to us on camera. One was safety, and the other one's to protect the Black Lives Matter mural that's there. That being the case, we talked to SDOT Director Sam Zimbabwe, called him on the phone, put him on the speakerphone on the stream. He said that they're still trying to figure out their path forward with the mural that's in the street, but he said that their objective today was to clear 10th Avenue, and that's what they did. We didn't expect, although that helicopter is still above us, so we got to figure out what's going on outside. Didn't expect to take further action today, but we'll see what happens with that. We also talked to the people over at Human Services, and we read that text message there. They have their tent that's open on Pine and Broadway, just about 1 block, 2 blocks from the CHOP, to be able to provide services to the unhoused, the homeless that are living in a Tenton area. He put some stats out there, but I think they said 18 referred to shelters. Feel they've engaged 123 or something like that, close to 120 people that are there. So as for today, we're going to follow up definitely on this. I'll go up on that because it's been out there for the whole show. We're talking to quite a few other people. We want to be able to talk to Jay Johnson, who is the head of Human Services for the city. And we also want to be able to talk to the head of Parks. And that's because they play a big role that's over there, especially since they've said that the park is closed. And we're going to just continue, you know what I'm saying, our coverage out here. I think we're on King 5 at 1 o'clock, nice. Where they're recording at least at 1 o'clock. But and we're continuing our conversations today with residents and business owners, because that's two groups you don't really hear a lot from. You hear from the politicians and you hear from the protesters, but we want to talk to actual residents that are living here, business owners. And also we're going out into the park today, I think in the 2 o'clock hour, and we're and up here to the tenant area, because we've getting a lot of reports of people missing from CHOP, especially women missing from the CHOP. And we just want to be able to follow it up. If nothing else, be able to get some pictures of people who are missing and be able to make that available to the public. So another full day out here as our coverage continues. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Any last words, Trina?
Yeah,
today?
no, just a great show. I just loved being able to get that recap from Coach Dom, you know what I mean? And also just shout out to the crew. Amazing new cameras, y'all. You guys have no idea. So I'm very excited. I think that,
the new
there's a lot.
set's beautiful. Big shout out to the production crew.
Yeah, really. There's a lot to be excited for over here at Converge.
And thank you to the people who have donated.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I hope that they can see little by little, there's all these improvements that are made through the donations of the general public, even, these wireless microphones, cameras, switchers, routers, things like that.
I definitely appreciate it, y'all.
All right. Looks like it's time to take a stand.
Yes.
We're going to get out of here for today. Morning Update show is back tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll have continuing coverage throughout the day. Until tomorrow, peace.
Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and
For some just background information on Sound Transit, they have their own police force that is part of King County Sheriff's Office that is exclusively for policing people at the light rail station and backing up fare enforcement. Again, we're talking conflicts over $2.50 or $2.75 is the fare currently. Again, the conflict that happened that resulted in the murder of Oscar Perez Giron was over $2.50, and there's nothing that can justify somebody being murdered over $2.50. Nothing. There's been recent efforts within King County Metro to reform fare enforcement, but they didn't get rid of it. And it's the same question about, whether or not police can be reformed. And we know that people have tried that. Fare enforcement has already been tried to be reformed. And we know that it disproportionately criminalizes Black and brown people, poor people. It doesn't make any sense to ask people to pay a fare if they don't know where their, next meal is going to come from. Thank you to everybody joining. We're here at the Soto Light Rail Station in honor of Oscar Perez Giron with some of his family members and community members. He was 23 years old at the time that he was murdered by a King County sheriff. And the ripple effects of this carry on. Sometimes things like this, people don't know about it. Some people know about it right after things like this happen, but people still miss their family members. They still miss their loved ones. And justice still hasn't been served, which is just, the repeated pattern over and over and over again. One thing to also connect the dots to here is that, even though fare enforcement officers say that they don't work with ICE, people don't necessarily know that. And when they're asked for identification, there's a lot of fear that people might have around what's going to happen if they share their identification. And so again, this is another way that our transit systems are not made safe for undocumented people, where identification is required if and when somebody is apprehended by fare enforcement. Yes. We're asking for justice for Oscar now. We know that, I'm a bus driver for King County Metro, and I have fare enforcement crawling on my bus all the time, and they tell me as a bus driver my job is not to be a fare enforcer because they know that can escalate things unnecessarily, yet they pay people to be escalators, right? They don't have to do that. There's no reason to prevent people who are often dependent on buses, on light rail to get places. There's no reason to criminalize people or punish people for not being able to afford a $2.75 fare. And oftentimes, when people have to go across different transit systems, they got to pay $2.75 on the light rail, then they got to pay $2.75 on a bus, and then they got to pay maybe another $2.75 if they got to go on community transit. And so because all these transit systems are not connected, you might have somebody who's been gentrified out of the city have to pay, $7 to go one way. That doesn't make sense. Transit should be free. It's a public service. The cops and the fare enforcement officers that are focused on transit, they're here to make this light rail gentrified. It's a historic truth that a lot of white people and gentrifiers tend to prefer to take the train over the bus. And so then you got police officers that are literally here just to police the light rail stations. And, you know, when I get off my shift, a lot of the time, I see people being apprehended by the King County Sheriff right by the light rail station, and that happens a lot. So they're not there for safety. They're there for the comfort of gentrifiers. Yeah, and we have someone in the chat saying that $2.50 is not worth more than a life. That's exactly right. There's too many times that cops explain away their murders by, you know, justifying it like, oh, this person did this, that, the other thing. It is never worth taking a life, period. That doesn't even need to be debated. Yeah, and some more transit history for folks. Another person dropped in the chat there that we used to have a ride-free zone in downtown Seattle. And then, you know, as more and more austerity measures came in, as more and more corporations just get to ride tax-free in this town, you see the public services that people depend on to get places getting rolled back. Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
I'm going to open up with a land acknowledgement, and then my husband Randy and I were going to do our smudgies and prayer songs. We've got another drummer here to help us out with that. So all we're doing is I was expecting you now. People can hear me? Loud enough. Read it that loud. We need somebody to help. Is there a volume?
Figuring out the sound here. And yeah, that's right. There's a lot of like richer folk that don't want to ride transit if there's like houseless people riding transit. But, you know, I'm sorry, but your comfort doesn't matter.
So right now I'm going to open up with a land acknowledgement. My husband Randy and I were going to do a blessing and a prayer song. We have another drummer here with us. And then Maria Peron, Oscar's mother, she's going to say a few words, and then we're going to get on with the march. I wanted to really start right at 12 because we need to be at Westlake. We'll have a lot of speakers lined up here. Thank you everyone so much for being here.
Opening with a blessing and a grounding.
Test, test, test. flag of grievance. This young man has been taken from us over the United States. That's right. This is wrong. Who's going to look after? Who's going to work? Our people are getting shot. Are getting hurt. Just we're trying to be them. But I ask you, the different nationalities, I ask you, please, let's work together. Let's talk together. Let's have peace together. Bullshit. South. I pray right now that you would soothe the pain, Heavenly Father. I pray that you take the pain away, Heavenly Father. I pray you touch the people, Heavenly Father.
For anyone just joining, we just had a blessing and a grounding as we kick off a vigil and then a march in honor of Oscar Perez Giron.
Sale, Lakwadawak, Greg Urquhart, Teacher Shivagi. Name's Greg Urquhart. I'm a 7 of the Eastern Band of Cherokee. At this time, I'd like to sing our morning song. It reminds us that we're all up in great spirit. We carry ourselves in that good way. Be kind to one another.
Estela, Miguel,
Señora Estela Ortega por hacernos maestras, Estela Ortega, el Centro de la Raza, por apoyarnos a la comunidad latina. Muchas gracias, porque sin ustedes no podíamos hacer esto. También a la señora Linda Soriano, Randy, sorry, I gotta say English. Mr. Randy, and I want to say appreciate it, thank you very much. Even El Centro de la Raza, Estela Ortega, Miguel Maestas, Linda Soriano, Florencia, my friend, and the señor Pérez Calleja, Boca Negra, I'm sorry. for Westlake. So for this march, people on the bike with their helmets, and we're going to follow them for the safest route going to Westlake. Thank you. Juan Jose Bocanegra, I love you. Thank you for being here.
Vamos a caminar para allá.
All right, for context, for anybody just joining, there's many people gathered down at the Soto station in Seattle in honor of Oscar Perez Giron, who was murdered by King County Deputy Malcolm Elliott 6 years ago on June 30th after being harassed by fare enforcement on the train. And people are here to honor him, to remember him, and to also continue to call for justice. Sorry, just trying to figure out my battery situation here. There's a question on the live stream thread if there's an official name for this march. I don't know that off the top of my head. I do know that there's a flyer that you can find on the Instagram account for Decriminalize Seattle, as well as for COVID-19 Mutual Aid, so you'll probably be able to find the official name there and then drop it in the chat for anybody else that wants to post about what's happening today. It's important for us to be out here to remember Oscar, and also to just call attention to the fact that fare enforcement is still operating, you know, and there's many different ways that justice can look like, and we definitely need to turn to the family to honor what they are asking for. And we can also connect the dots where if they're still doing fare enforcement, you know, this could happen again. And so that's just a form of systemic racism, it's systemic classism. So this is a gathering today that's showing Black and brown solidarity. I just post a flyer in there and it says 6th Annual Vigil and March, remembering Oscar Perez Giron. If anybody does want to join, the march is heading to Westlake. And this vigil has been happening for 6 years now. And I don't know if people heard this, Maria earlier saying that Katrina, who is related to Charlena Lyles, is also here. Again, this is connecting the dots between the way that police brutality is enacted on Black and brown communities.
up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Do you have a battery pack that actually works? I can't get mine to work, and I think my phone's gonna die.
I probably didn't.
Hey, Bonner. How's it going? I know. You got your puffy jacket too.
No, the sun. Just as you say that, the sun.
I know. We're gonna be sweating in a second. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
good?
you. Hopefully.
Is
I
it
don't
on?
know. How do you tell? I know, I got my hoodie on too, and I'm like, we're not even walking yet.
Power of doo-doo, you know? And the guy was, I always played at home where I can keep my light on, because as long as you're reading, you're not in the locker. The guard was, you know, messing with me a little bit. I said, hey, guard, come here. Let me explain something to you. I'm a reformed doo-doo thrower. Guess what? No more problems. Because that just throwing doo-doo, it stink up the whole compound. Everybody's screaming. They got to come in with 4 or 5 in the white suit, you know, because it's toxic, and don't stick it up in the fan and stuff, you know. So that's the most punishment you got other than filing lawsuits. So all this clown show about looking out for me, hey, listen, my mother said I got 5 boys. I leave the house, I come back, the furniture's tore up, the house is tore up. You're always there, but you're never involved. But you're gonna get a beating too, because you're sneaky. Okay? Now I call it being clever. You know, other people say it's being sneaky. That's how we got all this. That's how we blocked the police station, was being sneaky. We didn't have guns, we couldn't fight the police. We waited 20 years to let these clowns show what they could do with this building. And you see what they did? They lost control of it. The developers got the apartments that they wanted. And guess what? How did we go from being the owners, the creators, the 13-year fighters for it, to sleeping on the porch? So when the police come, we give them the you know, and the second time they came, I gave them the purchase and sell agreement, and they're like, oh yeah, you see, African American Heritage Museum Culture Center, thinking these clowns, that's who they were. And then I said, you know who's the president of that corporation? I am. That's why I'm here. That's why we're here, and that's why we're here to claim our building so we can serve our youth. Now that 19-year-old that got killed up there, I taught his grandmother when she was 12 years old. And the daughter called whose son got killed and asked if she have his memorial here on the 3rd. Now I felt bad because he's a rapper and a musician, and if this place had been anything in the open, instead of him being up there, he would have been here. I coached Little League Baseball for 40 years. I got 22 kids in the cemetery, this stupid gang bang. I got 3 engineers, I got some in there, I got kids everywhere, except for the Seattle Police Department. The sister that, when you go to the municipal building, she sits there, guess what? I coach her son. So the joke was, how's JP doing? Oh, JP's doing good, you know, he had a baby. How's JP doing? Oh, he got some time. He fell off. Blah, blah, blah. The last time I asked her how JP doing, guess what she said? Let me show cell phone and show me his obituary. Killed in Kent, blah, blah, blah. So I'm serious about this. Life and death issue. And this clown and that sister that claimed to be the CEO, when she comes, she's from Detroit. Detroit got the Charles H. Wright Museum. They got them drinking poison water in Flint. She got plenty to do in where she's from. She does not know us and does not care nothing about us, because one of the big problems in the black movement is respect for local leadership. You got all these clowns coming from all. They think Seattle is a punk in a place to come and hustle. But guess what? When they're going back to Chicago or New York or wherever they came from in a casket, because Seattle is sneaky. They're scary. Who?
I'm Ashley. My name's Ashley. I'm a case manager. I work with the Seattle Fire Department. So could you help me understand what it is you're asking? What are your set of things that you're asking for from this group?
First of all, we're not
asking for the fire department to
we're asked not asked.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just
No, listen. Listen, we had a comprehensive program lined out.
Okay.
It's in the mayor's final report. Okay?
I would like to read that. I would love to if you have a copy. It's online and there's copies. Okay.
Yeah, it's online. You go to that. All the .org, exactly. And then guess what? This clown show, and talking about they can call the police. Police been here 3 times.
Yeah.
They don't know. They're going back wherever they came from in a box if they don't get out of the way. The street said that. You got that? The street said that. They need to get out of the way, because they're going to get out of the way either in a box or they walk away, because they have no right, they haven't put nothing in this for them to switch our museum into an apartment house. Now, I don't know where they came from. I don't know them. They know me, but they don't really know me. And I smile and grin and but I've got kids because I coached Little League for 40 years. I got kids in every set. I'm the strongest guy on the street. You got that? I'm the strongest guy, and they came to me and asked me to do gang mediation. You know what I told them? As long as you guys are killing and shooting each other, I don't want nothing to do with you. Kill each other all off. Because you're not no good to black folks. So they had a gang summit at Promenade 23 where they called my son, guess what? OG. In Waikiki that runs Africa Town. What's Africa Town? Go down there and ask the Asians what Chinatown. It's a black reflection of Chinatown. So guess what? The young people cannot do no worse than these clowns. They don't have nothing. They ain't fighting for nothing, and most of them don't even live in the neighborhood. But guess what about the street organizations? They want to stay on their block. Oh, you got the energy to want to stay on their block? Hey, these Negroes, Carver Gayton live, you know, he's the FBI, was my history coach. I mean, my history teacher at Garfield in '62. He's my football coach. He quit teaching us and joined the FBI. Not just the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover FBI, that was running around sabotaging Dr. King and every positive program. That's the Negro that they got running.
And that's not a secret. He's not undercover. He brags about it on his
Distinguished Alumni page at the UW.
and you go on the internet, you type in Carver Gayton JFK assassination. He's all caught up in the middle of that. These folks coming here with this whiny, they gonna help me. They need to go and help the young people in the street. And they're not helping the young people in the street with apartment houses. Our kids is not in the street because they don't have a place to sleep. They're in the street because the Seattle Public Schools teaches them self-hate. Our kids love to go to school when they're 5 and 6 and 7. By the time they get to junior high school, now this clown don't know that in 1970 I was elected the co-chair of the Black Alliance for Education. All the PhD superintendents, all the administrators, all the black parents, all the black teachers, we had one organization. And then they came in with this 444 busing integration program. The black teachers that went to school, just the mothers went back to school to work and teach black kids. They bust them out to different white schools. Now here you are, a black parent, went to school to help black students, and you're out in the North End with a bunch of white kids. Then, after they moved to black teachers, then guess what? They start busing black kids. My little brother was one of the first black kids to be bused out to Eckstein. He still can't get along with black folks. I asked him, why you go from one white woman to the other white woman? He said, I really like black women, but I can't get along with them.
What it is that you need and want, you know, in terms of why you're here. And I think I understand, I want to make sure I understand it. Is your main complaint about having the apartments here, or is that
Look, it's very disrespectful for someone to come up with a concept, an idea. These Negroes wasn't thinking nothing about no museum. You know, they got self-hate. So me and this brother here, Patrick, got 10,000 signatures against the police station in support of this museum. We fought 3 years to block the police precinct on 23rd and Yesler, and then the mayor called me and said where to put it, and I said put it up on 12th and Pine in the gay neighborhood, because my shock troop was 3 blacks and 30 gay and lesbians. The 30 white gay and lesbians, when it looked like the police were coming, all the black folks ran off. It said me, Shabaka, and Muhammad. Then, when the police didn't come, here come this type person, what all these white folks doing around here? I'm like, my background is in sports. I'm the first black college quarterback in this state. My dad was the first black electrical engineer in the whole Northwest. He's head of Fish and Wildlife for 57 to 58. Him and his Masonic brothers put together the first black bank this side of Mississippi. So I didn't come from, I'm the first one in my family to go to school. And I had to debate. And this clown show, it's an insult for this lady to come here and say she's gonna help me get some mental health. And like the Native American says, hey, you know, that's a real insult. You think just because a black male got the guts to stand up to white power that he's crazy.
Right.
You know? Did you hear what I said? You don't mess with me. Because I'm very angry. And I told you what happened to my mother, how she was murdered, and my little sister. I told you that. So I smile and be nice, but you don't want to fool around with me. You got that? Don't fool around with me. will put you in. I don't know where are you? Where? Where are you from?
Tacoma.
Well, why aren't you? Freddie Mae Gaucher? I know her real well.
I do too.
Okay.
She's like, I got it.
Yes, but guess what? You know. Crook. Did you hear what? She was a crook.
I would not say that about Freddie Mae.
Yeah, because you don't know her. You're from Tacoma. I know all the people, their history, where all the bodies is buried. And guess what? I'm not from Tacoma. I'm Seattle. 100% Seattle. And Tacoma, I don't know. When I leave Seattle, I go to Africa, or I go to Europe, or I go to Asia. I don't go to any other city in the U.S. except I go visit my daughter in Atlanta and my baby daughter, Odessa Brown.